So this mandibular first molar, I completed the root canal about a year ago, and the mesial root failed because of likely this culprit, the middle mesial canal. So this is the radiograph right after we finished the treatment about a year ago. And then we revalued the patient a year later, and unfortunately there is that lesion on the mesial root, indicating possible failure of that mesial root.
So I want to walk you through how I was trained to retreat, and really the point of this is to take a look for that middle mesial canal when you're doing mandibular molars, because 50% of the time, those canals are there, the middle mesials.
So this page, called Root Canal Anatomy Blogspot, it's been around for a while, and it's really cool because they use micro CTs in the University of Sao Paulo, and what they do is they take micro CTs and they scan them, and then they put them online for our use. And we had our students research using just this website. It's pretty quick, looking for the middle mesial canal. And one of the articles that they published was the results, the incidence, and this is correlated with a few other articles showing that the incidence is roughly 15 to 18%. So you can see that the problem with the middle mesial is that it's in the furcation, and there's always a danger area. So if this is the mesial furcation, this is that danger area, and how close and how thin that gets. So we're going to retreat this tooth and look for the middle mesial. And unfortunately, the patient can't open that wide. So using my surgical length burr won't work. So I elected for just a shorter burr, didn't matter what it was. We just used this shorter diamond. And now we're getting close. And I know that the length of my shank that I'm looking for is 6 millimeters. So I'm going to go back in. And now I'm just going to, it's always that mesial buccal corner that seems to always be the difficult little corner to get under. So we're going to use our burr to remove some of that composite from the area, and now you can start to see where the top of the gutta percha is, the orifice. So I'm going to slow it down and use a Muntz burr, which is essentially a long shank round burr, and slowly remove all the composite. I'm going to get into the orifices a little bit, and one of the tips that I've been taught is to have my dental system blow air while I'm doing any type of slow speed work. So I'm going to trough left to right. Well, it is left to right. Buccal to lingual. And just so you can see the gutta percha starting to come out. So we're going to get into the orifices a bit. I know that the diameter of this round burr is 1 millimeter. So I'm not too concerned just in the top millimeter of my orifice, because I know that the Wave 1 Gold medium that I use is a 1.13 diameter. So I'm safe with that. And at the same time, I'm going to trough buccal to lingual, looking for that middle mesial canal. You're asking, why didn't you do this the initial step? I'm still asking myself that question as well. So there we go. We've almost got all the composite out of the way, and I'm going to sink that in just to make a little dimple for my Wave 1 Gold primary to get in there and start removing that gutta percha.
Take a look in the description box below. I've got a couple links for some articles. One is on the incidence of middle mesial canals, and the other one is on actually something entirely different, which is endocrown restorations.
Thanks to John Rhodes, who showed us on one of his videos using actually a gate split and a number 2 to remove the coronal part of the gutta percha. It's a really cool tip. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Wave 1 Gold and start to remove some of that gutta percha. But honestly, I find that the reciprocation is fairly inefficient for removing gutta percha. So what I'm going to do is I'll actually hit the motor and spin this file in reverse, because the Wave 1 Gold cuts in reverse, and I'll spin it at about 1,000 RPMs, just like a rotary file, and you'll find that I find that gutta percha just comes flying out. So I'll do that in both canals, the mesial buccal, mesial lingual, and I caution you on doing this technique. If you want to try it, do it in extracted teeth, because this file is not designed to cut in reverse at 1,000 RPM. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to rinse with sodium hypochlorite. So we'll irrigate all the canals, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our Wave 1 Gold in the proper motion, reciprocation. I'm going to take that to my working length that I have from before, which is 18 millimeters, and then we're going to take our working length with our apex locator. So fortunately, I was able to achieve patency again in this canal, even though I was using BC Sealer. I clean and shape the mesial buccal, mesial lingual canals like normal, and now I'm going to try to use that Wave 1 Gold to scout around and see if I can get a catch in that middle mesial. And sure enough, you can start to see debris come flying up to the surface, and that is an awesome feeling. So I'm going to clean and shape the coronal part of that orifice, that canal, to the 16 millimeters, which is the cutting flutes, and we'll see what we got. And sure enough, booyah, there's our middle mesial canal. Okay, so we're going to clean and shape everything to a medium, and you ask, well, what about the danger zone? This file is not going all the way to length in that medial mesial because it joins up with the mesiolingual, so I'm not too concerned. So we're going to clean and shape to a 3506, and then we're going to irrigate like Niagara Falls. So this is a super high speed video of irrigation, but we actually use a 12 milliliter irrigating syringe, and we'll empty that at least once. I'm going to reconfirm my working lengths. And here's the final product. So what we're going to do now is we're going to now disinfect with our final irrigation protocol. We're going to rinse with sodium hypochlorite, then we're going to activate it, then we're going to use EDTA, and we'll reactivate it with the endoactivator. Just before I dry the canals, I'm going to fit in my gutta percha, so I still have a little bit of hypochlorite sitting in the canals, and we're going to check our working lengths. Then we're going to place paper points and dry our canals. One of the tips I was taught was to place all your paper points and then blow some air, and that wicks up some of the moisture. We're going to place our BC sealer, and then we're going to take a working length radiograph. So I'm happy with the radiograph. We're going to sear off the orifice. This is a new heat source I've been trying. It's actually another dentist. It's called a B&L, and it actually is really cool. It's cordless. And then we're going to pack it down, and voila, we've got our newly refreshed mesial canal. And we're going to place our bonding agent, and then we're going to seal up with some composite, finalize the last increment, cure it, adjust our bite, our occlusion, polish the restoration, and then that's it. And here's our final shift shot. And I'm happy with that. So we'll see what happens.